business, social economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and my name is Kingsley Manuel, and I'm very happy to be here this evening to bring you up to speed with the latest happening revolving around the world of sports. Top one out main this evening, Sports Ministry intensified preparation ahead of African Games. Coming in from tennis, Elena Rybakina captures its career title in Brisbane. Football, Guinea down Super Eagles in a final AFCON warm-up game. These and many more will be yours after this short timeout. Please stay with us.
Greenwoods with the goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Play again. Fight for him. He does a right hand and down goes Paul straight away. Let's see where. Oh, what a point to end it on. So now it's this winner at the best. And it's winner 12 years for this. So drink it in. Still goes to Auckland, New Zealand. Well, he'd love to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. It's 8 goals.
It's New Year. The beginning of every new year signals a hope, faith, and desires to be met. From all of us at Morrison Communication Limited, Atlantic Television Network, and Wish 99.5 FM, we pray your desires for 2024 are met and that you enjoy abundant grace all year round. Happy New Year and welcome to Excellent 2024.
Went to Badagry for a wedding and he came back with a car. How is that even possible?
Haven't you heard the saying that with God, all things are possible?
Spare me all that and tell me what's going on.
You're not even happy. She brought home a car to be taken into the market. You selling marijuana and tramadol, destroying people's lives? Mom, I'm not destroying anybody's life. If I do not sell to these people, they will still buy from someone else.
There is a smoke on the mountain. If you not take time now, it will turn to fire.
My own money for hand, back for ground.
What kind of money do you want to make?
Answer me now.
Sharp money. You go Bute? Yes. No, not in this house.
What did they happen for here? Why should the waka like say she know where?
You have been avoiding me since that swimming pool stuff.
That alcohol stuff, point of correction.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honourables, you human trafficker. Honourables, you are a human trafficker.
on the policy yet from all the countries. So no agreement with the EU, but
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Greenwoods went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Play again. Oh, fight for him. He tries a right hand and down goes ball straight away. Oh, what a point to end it on. So now this is winner after best. It's winner 12 years for this. So drink it in. Still goes to Ireland, New Zealand. Well, he'd love to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. It's 8 goals.
See Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, it promises to be another exciting edition of the show today, because we're having lots, of course, for you this evening. Joining me to do justice to the issues we have on our menu, the man, of course, you know so well, Emmanuel Michael. Good evening to you, and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Extraordinary. My first edition in the year 2024 to see.
Yeah. Sure, your first edition, and you're welcome back from that short break. At least you needed it to go and while away some, time.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Kingsley. Thank you for having me this evening.
Of course, I'm very happy, of course, that you're here. Let's take a look at what is happening, of course, in the water sports this moment. And we start from the home scene down here, where the Minister of Sport, talking about John Owaneno, he's saying that, of course, he wants to meet with the presidents of different sports and federations down here in Nigeria, to prepare for the African Games. I don't know what you make of this move by John Owaneno.
Yes, I think for me it's a great move and a good idea to make sure that at least he sits on a roundtable discussion with some of the, active members or the head of different federating units when it has to do with sports in Nigeria, so that they can be able to share ideas, together and look for a profile solution rather on how to get things done right in the couple of months that is ahead. I think for me this kind of synergy, this kind of partnership is a massive one, because with this roundtable discussion with some of the body that be in different sporting federation, I think they are going to table their problem, their challenges in their own area, and possibly they can possibly provide solution to some of those challenges, so that we can actually get things right when it has to do with sport generally in the country. I feel for me it is a right move by the senator, the sport minister John Wanene, to make sure that he rally around everybody and carry everybody along and give a listening ear to different sporting federation and hear their own side of the challenge and address it proper. And by so doing, we can be rest assured that we are going to get it right. But when you don't actually work as a unit, if you don't work together as a unit, then it will be very, very difficult for you to achieve a success at the end of affair. But when you have decided to work together with other people in different sporting federation, I think you will get it right, because you alone as a sport minister, you can't actually do it alone. So you need a support, a whole lot of support from different sporting head to be able to make his idea come to manifestation. If not, you will have a lofty idea on how to go about improving the level of sporting activity that we've seen in the country. But if you don't have people that is backing you, then that your lofty idea will just die naturally. But then when you have people that share the same vision, the same aspiration with you, and you come together to be able to at least share ideas on how to change the narrative of things within your own sporting unit, or within your own sporting federating unit, then you can be rest assured that a result is bound to come because of the unity.
Impressive one. And the meeting scheduled to take place in Abuja this Thursday aims to foster collaboration, synchronize plans, and strategic collective actions among the various sports federations. This proactive initiative aligns with the commitment to enhance Nigerians' competitive edge at the Games later this year in Accra, Ghana. Senator John Wanino highlighted the significance of the gathering, stating, and I quote, "Our nation boasts exceptional athletic talent across various disciplines. This meeting is a pivotal step towards harnessing our collective potential and ensuring a synchronized approach in our quest for success outside the African Games." This was coming from John Wanino. Now, the agenda will encompass discussion on athletes' preparation, resource allocation, administrative coordination, and leveraging expertise to optimize Nigeria's performance at the Continental Sporting Event. The Sport Minister's proactive engagement with the Federation's heads signify the government's passion to support and empower Nigerian athletes on their journey to sporting excellence. The meeting is anticipated to strengthen unity, streamline strategies, and foster a cohesive environment conducive to achieving remarkable feats at the African Games coming up in March this year. I look forward to see how this one, of course, will pan out, and we'll see. But let's talk boxing. We expect Alexander Usyk to edge the encounter when he faces Tyson Fury on February 17. Joshua plans to be ringside when Fury and Usyk fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship in Saudi Arabia. Joshua, who was relieved of his WBA, WBO and IBF belt by Usyk in September 2021 and then lost the rematch 11 months later, expected the Ukrainian world champion to see of WBC champion Fury and become the first undisputed champion in the 4-bet era. What do you make of it? Joshua, of course, putting up, the man Usyk, to take down Tyson Fury when both fighters, of course, meet on February 17 in Saudi Arabia. Promises to be an interesting clash, Michael. But Joshua is already giving his support, to Alexander Usyk. Why Alexander Usyk? Is it because Usyk, of course, defeated him, and he also wants Usyk to defeat Tyson Fury, so that they will know that maybe this Usyk, there is something behind him?
Well, for me, I feel why he's throwing his weight behind Usyk is because of the fact that possibly, maybe in future time to come, he would think of trying to have a pound of flesh against Usyk, a man who dethroned him and take away his title, and heading against another man who is a very strong boxer out there talking about Tyson Fury. If he did not throw his weight behind Alexander Usyk, people will tend to think that maybe he's afraid of Alexander Usyk, because if Alexander Usyk actually defeat Tyson Fury, then there is a possibility that in the near future to come, Anthony Joshua will take up another rematch against Alexander Usyk. And for me, I see that coming to fruition if Anthony Joshua actually takes on, the bout between him and the rumored, Francis Ngannou, the Octagon, king out there. And possibly after that, he might want to fight for the IBF title. And if he get that IBF title, then the stage will be probably set to take on either Alexander Usyk or Tyson Fury, because Wilder is out in his game against, Parker, which boxing fans had waited for, because on the long run, Wilder was, saying that he want a fight between him and Anthony Joshua, but they could not strike that deal, not until they took that fight in Saudi Arabia a few weeks ago, where Anthony Joshua had a better part of whiling, while Parker failed to. While Wilder failed to win Parker. If Wilder had won Parker, then we'll be talking about Anthony Joshua squaring up against Wilder, but that now is outside of the card. So Anthony Joshua might possibly be thinking of a rematch against a man that dethroned him. So I feel this is the reason why he's throwing his weight behind Alexander Usyk. Because if for me, I would have tipped Tyson Fury to win that very one, so that possibly we can see a fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. And we've not seen that fight before, and I believe that boxing fans all over the world will be very, very excited rather, to see that one coming to fruition. But then again, I think it's just one of those support that some boxing fans or some sport fans out there throw to some of the opponents that I have big respect for. This thing happen even in football. You saw a player, or you get to see a player that you feel that this player is top there. Whenever he plays, you want to throw your support and try to use some good words to qualify that player, because you admire the way and manner to which such player play. I feel that is the same thing that Anthony Joshua is doing right here.
And talking about Anthony Joshua, this year he, of course, will be going into the ring against Francis Ngannou. A bout that so many down here in Africa do not really find pleasure. And so many are saying, no, this should not happen. Of course, Anthony Joshua has an African roots, and know that Ngannou, of course, is the Cameroonian.
Yeah.
And seeing both boxers, in the ring, this to some Africans, it doesn't really go well for them. But I don't know what you make of the bout.
Well, for me, I'm not truly happy when I heard of that, rumored fight between him and Francis Ngannou. Though the veracity of that fight is not fully confirmed, and because the details
actually put that up on his social media handle.
Yeah, but at the end he's saying something different. He also at the end, which is his promoter, he was saying that Anthony Joshua might possibly go for the vacant IBF belt, which is rumored to be between him and Govich. And for me, I don't know until maybe as the day comes by, we'll get the clarity on the fight between Anthony Joshua and anybody. But for me, I feel if Anthony Joshua wants to pick up a fight against anybody, it's not Ngannou. Though Ngannou is good in his own way, because we saw what he did against the big man out there. But talking about Tyson Fury, but a split decision actually denied him of the victory. But then some boxing fans all over the world actually felt that he was robbed on the victory, because looking at what he did on the ring against Tyson Fury, truly you agree with me that he put up a good job out there. He deserved to win that very match. But then I don't know the reason why the judges rather had to give it to Tyson Fury again. But for me, I feel Anthony Joshua should go for the IBF title other than taking up a fight against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, fine. Though one would want to say that Anthony Joshua is trying to build back his confidence and return back to the form that we used to know him about. Last season alone, he took up 3 fights. He won those 3 games. I think that should have been good enough. That should have been a good pedigree that he has built for himself before taking up a title bet against any other squad. So for me, I'm not really happy about the deal between him and Francis Ngannou. I felt that he should have gone for something higher. Go for the IBF, title that is vacant right now, and you get that one. Then the room becomes more even open for you to, face the likes of Tyson Fury or Thunder Usyk.
All right, let's see how this one goes for the man Anthony Joshua. We'll see if that bout, of course, will come to reality at the end of the day. But let's talk tennis as Dimitrov beats Hogarun 7-6, 6-4. A tightly fought battle for the top seed. But at this point, we'll take a short break, and when we come back from this break, we'll bring you all that you need to know about the world of tennis. Stay with us.
Greenwoods went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. And down goes Hooper straight away.
Oh, what a point to end it on.
So now this is when you're at the best. And it's when you're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Still goes to Austin.
What he loves to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. It's 8 goals.
It's New Year. The beginning of every new year signals a hope, faith, and desire to be met. From all of us at Morrison Communication Limited, Atlantic Television Network, and Wish 99.5 FM, we pray your...
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on The Fact Today, only on ATN.
Greenwoods went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Right hand, and down goes Hooper straight away.
Oh, what a point to end it on.
So now this is when you're at the best. And it's when you're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Still goes to Austin.
What he loves to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. It's 8 goals.
Of course, it's the Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, it's time to bring you The latest from the world of tennis as Grigor Dimitrov beat Hogurun 7-6-6-4 in a tightly fought battle of the top seed in Brisbane International Final, which stretched over 2 hours and contained only one break of serve. Dimitrov, who's ranked 14th in the world, as second seed in Brisbane, claimed his 9th career title with victory and his fourth since the ATP finals in 2017. Meanwhile, top seed Andrew Rublev secured his 15th tour level title with a 6-4, 6-4 victory over Finn Emon in the Hong Kong Open final. In a heavy hitting final, Rublev earned a 6-4, 6-4 victory at the ATP 250 event to start his season in style. Away from that, we hear Spanish superstar Rafael Nadal yesterday put out of the Australian Open with a micro tear on the muscle belly a week after making his comeback from year-long injury absence, but said he remained positive for this season. Michael, what do you make of this one? A bit of a setback at the moment, for the man Rafael Nadal.
Yeah, a bit of a setback, we want to say, but then he has come out to make it very clear that he's still very much positive. But for me, I feel it is time for him to, call it a quit. He's coming back from injury after a long while. You can't actually keep up to the pace that we used to know you of. It will be very, very difficult. So for me, I feel it is just time for him to take a bow and leave the scene that have made him so popular. But it's just that it's quite difficult. If you're a champion, there is this aura within you that whenever you head to that big stage, there is always this tempt for you to stay there for a quite long time. But then nature has its own way. When that age comes, there is nothing you can do about it. And it's beginning to show. Every now and then, you keep getting injuries. Even when you come back from the previous injury, he has played about 2-3 games. The next thing, boom, injury again. So for me, I just feel it is time for him to train in the towel.
But the man has actually promised to bounce back very strongly this season. And looking at things about Djokovic and talking about Carlos Alcaraz, and the rest of the guys in the ATP. But starting off with injury, you see, Rafael Nadal at least, winning a Grand Slam or putting up very huge challenge against the likes of Djokovic and the rest.
No. For me, I feel as he came back into the court, there is this tendency that you want to leave on a high note. You want to leave when the ovation is high, they say. But for me, looking at his body language and his physique right now is very telling on him that it is time for him to call it a quit. And I don't see him giving the likes of Novak Djokovic, Iga Swiatek and the rest a very stiff competition or becoming a very stiff opponent for them out there, because these guys have been on the court very active in the last 2 years, and you just come back from injury after a long while. You can't actually keep up to the pace of the game. So for me, I think it will be very, very difficult. That is, even if he manages, to come back after this setback, then it will be very difficult for him to catch up the likes of Novak Djokovic, Iga Swiatek, and some other young players also who are very ready.
Djokovic and Alcaraz and the rest, you mean? Swiatek, of course, is in the WTA.
Sorry to say, I just got carried away by the display of the men at the Swiatek. So for me, that just does it for me.
All right, since talking about tennis, world number 4, Elena Rybakina captured her 6th career title at her first of the season at the Brisbane International, defeating number 2, Aryna Sabalenka's 6 love 6-3 in the final over the weekend. The victory ended Sabalenka's 15-match win streak on Australian soil, a streak that began last year with her wins in Adelaide at the Australian Open. And talking about Aryna Sabalenka, we saw her won the Grand Slam last season. For me, she looked like a player that don't take tennis serious. For me, if you ask me, because she won a Grand Slam last year, went to dethrone Iga Swiatek, took the world number 1 spot. Still that same year, she was also dethroned as well. And I'm not really seeing much as well from her. That, of course, you will say maybe she might be challenging or probably staging some level of dominance, in the WTA.
For me, I feel consistency is the word here, and she has not been very, very consistent. at some point you see her show some of those good flashes, get some of the win and very remarkable result. She just go out there to the court to get the result, play some good tennis game out there. But when the hopes or the expectation become so high, she just find a way to drop down in her performance. So I feel the issue of consistency, that is what is lacking in her game. If it can continue to be consistent every now and then we'll possibly be thinking of her becoming a world #1. But last season, when she won, the title and climbed to, world #1, it didn't take a long while before Iga Swiatek had to dethrone her again. So I think for me, the problem with her is that of consistency. The moment she can be able to stay consistent, I assure you, she will be squaring up shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Iga Swiatek.
And when it comes to consistency, if you ask me, one of the difficult things, or thing for people to do, especially when it has to do with tennis, especially the WTA, as well. But Coco Gauff battled past Elena Vitolina 6-7, 6-3, 6-3 in the Auckland Classic final over the weekend to retain her title and will head to Australian Open brimming with confidence as she targets the second Grand Slam crown. I don't know what you make of Coco Gauff starting the year in a very fine fashion.
Good one for Coco Gauff. This is a new year, and it's good to have a good result in a new year. I mean, that signals a sign of good thing to come for the year for Coco Gauff. But then, having said that, she also needs to improve on her games. There are some areas she also needs to improve in her game. And again, in the WTA, we know how competitive it is, and it could be very difficult for you to single out one player and say, yes, for this year, this player is going to be up there. For me, I think it just boils down to what some of these players want. Some of the players, the likes of Onjeboa, every year there is this mere success syndrome that at the point where she's about to get there, one thing or the other just happens. So for me, it just boils down to determination of each player on what he wants or what she wants per season or per year. So for me, Coco Gauff, good if she can actually maintain this consistency and tell herself, this is what I want to achieve in this year 2024. And she has kick that off with a positive victory, a positive win out there. If she can build on this, I tell you, come the end of this year, at least she's going to be up there.
Coco Gauff, of course, one lady really putting up an impressive display. Last season, she won a Grand Slam for herself, and maybe we might also see her win another Grand Slam. She starts with the Australian Open. We'll keep our fingers crossed, on that particular one. But let's stay away from that particular one, talking about tennis, as we take a look at, another tennis issue as well coming up this afternoon. We hear that Emma Raducanu has reunited with childhood coach Nick Cavadale in time for the Australian Open, where she will play her first Grand Slam for a year. The 2021 US Open champions had lined for much of the 2023 after ankle and wrist surgeries, has been working with a series of LCA coaches since returning to the practice course in October. And the 21-year-old has had a sequence of short-lived coaches since turning professional, but it is understood both she and Cavadale have the desire to work together beyond the Australian Open. And she and Britain Cavadale have begun working together in Melbourne before Tuesday's Chelsea match against Naomi Osaka. They had to practice for 2 hours with the help of a hitting partner under the roof of the Lava Arena today, after a second consecutive day of persistent rain in Melbourne. I don't know what you make of it. This is her childhood coach, talking about Emma Raducanu, Cavadale. The man has been with her, since she started playing tennis.
Yeah.
Do you see Cavadale, of course, changing the narrative for the lady talking about Emma Raducanu?
Hopefully, but it's just that Emma Raducanu have this penchant of not sticking to one coach for a quite long period of time, and this will definitely, or this has definitely affected her game. A player that doesn't have the trust of her coach, that every now and then you keep changing coaches. In the last 6 or 7 years, she has changed about 5 coaches. That is how massive and how,
not even 6 or 7 years, space of 3 years.
Okay, that is how, inconsistent she is with her coaches. And for me, I think discovering her new coach, her old coach, this could be the jigsaw in an attempt for her to stay, focused with one particular coach. Because for me, every coach have their own different game regiment and plan, and you must also give that coach time so that you can be able to adapt to the philosophy, to the tactics, to the tricks of what the coach, a certain coach, brings to you. But when you don't stick to such a coach, to one coach for a quite long period, then it will affect your game, because that coach will not be able to give you his all. Because at a point where the coach is about to give you his all, you just fire the coach and bring in another coach, you start afresh again, you fire the next coach and you bring in another coach, it will definitely affect your game. But if you have one coach and stay glued to that coach, at least that coach will be able to empty him or herself to you and show you all of the tactics that you need to know, that will help you win some big games out there. Let's hope that this very one is going to be a morale booster for her, if only she can be able to allow this very one stay for a long time.
Let's see how it goes for Emma Raducanu. Of course, she has united with her childhood coach, talking about Cavade. Would Cavade, of course, bring out the best once again from Emma Raducanu. But let's stay away from tennis now to take a look at the Nigerian Premier Football League. Enyimba beats Sporting Lagos by 2-0 in match day 17 encounter. Michael, the struggle continues for Sporting Lagos.
I just pity Sporting Lagos because since the throughout of last year, in the Super 8, they actually defeated some big teams out there, played some couple of good football out there, have this positive vibe coming into this new season. And the new season, they started like a house on fire, getting results against big teams out there, even going away to pull some, surprises out there. And we, tip them to be the new Girona of the La Liga, or the Bayern Leverkusen of, Bundesliga. But then, they say when John go mature, we go now separate boys from men. So it looks as though we are gradually separating boys from the men. That is what is happening to Sporting Lagos right now. But then, their coach as well made some statement a few days ago where they lost their game. He said that where they don't have the chance to pick a consistent first 11. Every game they had to, alter their first 11. And with that, you can't get the best out of changing players, courtesy of injury. That has affected them a whole lot. And for me, I think it's a disappointing one for Sporting Lagos because of the promises that we saw of them, even at the start of this season. But then again, you cut them some slack because they played against some of the best team, one of the best team rather in the NPFL, talking about Enyimba. Enyimba here is a big, team. They are giant killers. So for me, I think let's just cut them that slack. But then the coach of the Sporting Lagos, they need to do lots more compared to what they are doing right now, because as it is going, if they...
Considering the fact that they are not being sponsored by the state government, the club is privately owned, and it's really a huge one for them, traveling from different match venues to the other. Because this was not what people expected, especially me, with the way they actually stormed the Nigerian Premier Football League. We expected more from them, even though they have to struggle, but not at this level where they will have this. They bounced back to winning ways against Bayelsa United. They got 1-0, and that one. Akwa United beat Abia Warriors by 3-1, and Akwa United, another struggling side, but it seems as if maybe the players, they actually know what is ahead of them, and they want to start living up to expectation.
Let's hope so, that they want to start living up to the expectation, because Akwa United performance this season has been very, very poor. I tell you, it has been very, very poor. Both home and away, they have not been getting the result. At some point, the state government, which is the major financier of Aqua United had to read a riot act against the team that if they don't improve on their games, then they will have themselves to be blamed. At that time, we thought maybe they are going to, change the narrative and start getting some positive result out there. But then the result wasn't going in their favor. This time around, I think these 3 points that they got in this very one, let's hope they can be able to build on these 3 points, because there's one thing that comes with you, because Aqua United performance this season has been very, very poor. I tell you, it has been very, very poor. Both home and away, they have not been getting the result. At some point, the state government, which is the major financier of Aqua United, had to read a riot act against the team that if they don't improve on their games, then they will have themselves to be blamed. At that time, we thought maybe they are going to, change the narrative and start getting some positive result out there. But then the result wasn't going in their favor. This time around, I think these 3 points that they got in this very one, let's hope they can be able to build on these 3 points, because there's one thing that comes with you, winning. This winning mentality helps you to believe that you can do it. If they can believe on themselves, believing that they can do it after a long while of not getting all 3 points, then if they can build on that confidence heading into their next match, I think it will help them a whole lot.
Of course, Remo Stars beat Sunshine Stars by 2-0 over the weekend as well. Remo Stars looking very, very fantastic this season.
Very, very fantastic. And it's a team to watch out for. They don't just win, but they win convincingly. And the way they play their games, I actually took time during the weekend to go through some of their clips out there. They are very, very technical. When I mean technical, every bit and pieces that has to do in the pitch of play, they actually understand the antics, when to release the ball, when to hold on to the ball. These are things that matters. And the coach as well knows when to do the right substitution at the right time. This is one thing that have kept them going this season. And I think for me, if they can actually continue with this pace, then I see them doing something great. Let me not say they are going to win the league, because it is too early call to make right now, but then I see them finishing top 4.
Top 4? You take a look at it, that's a big question. How far will they continue to be at the top of the table? Because they're really looking very, very fantastic. We saw how they came to execute the game against Russia Stars. The players were well dressed, what's a fantastic outing for them. It was over the weekend. But the question is, how far will they be on top of the table? When you take a look at a team like Lobby Stars, yes, one of the teams we expect to struggle as well for the top, to be at the top. Eyimba Football Club, of course, we saw some resuscitation from them in their few games as well. We still expect Rivers United, of course, they have some outstanding games as well. So the thing is, can they maintain this momentum towards the end of the season? March day 17 already. The question is, how far, how long would they stay on top of the table?
Well, for me, looking at the statistics of the games that they have played so far this season, I think they've actually been able to prove to me, in particular, that they have what it takes to be able to stay at that top for a quite long time. Playing 17 games, seated first on the log, is not a fluke. First on the log is not a fluke. If it were to be, maybe they've played 5 or 7 or 10 games and they're seated first, then we can say, possibly this is a fluke, because the league have not yet, gone so far. But having played 17 games and they are seated, first on the log comfortably, it tells you about the character of the team. It tells you about the quality of the team. So for me, with the improvement that we've seen in the officiating angle in the NPFL this season, I can boldly tell you for free that indeed they have a stake here to stay there for a quite long time, because every game is being officiated fair and square right now, because the camera is in the eye of the center ref right now, unlike before, where people will just push some ref to do things which are against the ethics of the NPFL league. But right now that the game is being televised on television, we hear this season already about 14 referees have been suspended because of one issue or the other. So for me, I believe with the transparency that we are seeing in the level of officiating this season, I assure you they are going to stay there for a quite long time.
Niger Tornadoes beat Heartland 3-2, and of course, Heartland gradually or probably returning to struggling mode after the departure of Kennedy Boboye.
Quite disappointing for Heartland. At a time where Kennedy Boboye came in to change the narrative of things, one thought maybe he's going to stay there for quite a long time, but then the governor of a state had to wade in because I think it's politically related. The reason why Kennedy Boboye was let go is politically, motivated. Why? Because the former coach who, was taking charge. We hear that the wife is a stalwart of one party or the other. So possibly, maybe when he was sacked, the wife had to call, the state governor, telling him, my husband has been sacked from duty, and because he's your party man and all of that. Maybe that is the reason why they had to, the governor had to give order for him to be reinstated. But for me, is this kind of thing that we want to see in our football? No. It doesn't help football. It doesn't help for the even development of football when you begin to see that politics is beginning to rear its ugly head in sports. It takes away the beauty and shine in sports. So for me, I think they are back to their normal mode where they will continue to lose games. Because if you fire a man who came to change the narrative of things, a man who came within a short time, played 6 games, won 3, draw 2, and lost just 1, and you just let him go and bring back a man who played complete 9 games without a win. I mean, are you going forward or backward? So for me, I don't just understand, and that is why we keep advocating that there should be no political or political interference in football, because it will definitely, destabilize the management or the running of such clubs.
Kwara United lost to Lobby Stars 2-0. Lobby Stars speaking on away point in that encounter. Kano Pillars beat Plateau United by 2-1. Gombe United played 1-0 draw against Rivers United. But Michael, let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, as they were brought down to West by Guinea as the Lead Stars after they lost 2-0 in the final 2023 AFCON warm-up game played behind closed doors in Dubai. What do you make of that loss? Yesterday we saw them beating Garib of Dubai 12-0, and coming up to lose against Guinea.
Well, for me, I think it's one of those things. It's a warm-up game and not anything serious. There was nothing at stake in that very one. And for me, I just want to cut them some slack. Why? Because I do not expect the coach to fill in his first-team players, by making sure that they go out there and get the win. After all, whether they win or not, or they did not win, there was nothing special about that game. And coming at a time where we are having some injury concern or injury crisis within the team, we hear the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, is still, sweating to get ready for, the Nations Cup. The likes of Victor Osimhen as well, pick up some knock, Victor Boniface, so at the time where we are having, challenges or difficulties with some of our players, courtesy of injury, I don't expect the coach to tell his players that when you meet up against this Guinean, make sure you go out there and get the win. No, it wasn't necessary, because doing so is going to jeopardize the squad. If 1 or 2 players get injury in an attempt to win such a friendly games, whereas the main competition is just 5 days ahead, what difference does it make? What do we benefit if we win the friendly games, the warm-up friendly games before heading to the Nations Cup? We win it. What difference does it make if we win it and have some of our players injured and the competition is just about 5 days to start? So for me, I just want to cut them some slack. But then my major concern is about the first 11 that the coach fielded in. It was a total different first 11 that he used in the game that he defeated the Saudi Arabian first 11 side 12-0. It was a different set of players that he actually introduced in this today's game. So one will begin to ask, does it mean that Joseph Pizarro doesn't know his first 11? These are some of the key questions, and the substitution that he made in today's game is quite worrisome for me. At 82 minutes, he had to keep the likes of you know, what is it called? The goalkeeper who stood in our first game. This was no, Olorunleke Ojo. You know, you had to keep him on the bench. Francis Uzoho, one will understand the outcry is too much against him. You had to test the cheaper goalkeeper, talking about Stanley Nwabali. But then, at 84th minute, that is when he began to do some substitution. When you were down by 2-0, you had to sub in strikers and wingers who were even more creative on the pitch and bring in some defensive players. I mean, his tactical you know, approach is questionable. That is the only angle I'm worried. But for the outcome of the result, I'm not worried, because after all, the Argentine in their first World Cup game, they lost their first World Cup game. But what happened? They managed to go through the group stage and also, you know, get to the final and lifted the trophy, the World Cup. So for me, I think this is just a build-up game that has no any form of any consequence in this friendly game. But then, the tactical approach of the coach is something that is very worrisome. He needs to improve on that. If not, if he takes this kind of tactical approach to the Nations Cup, I tell you, despite the arrays of stars that we have within our team, we can, you know, go very far in this very one.
You talk about Victor Boniface, of course, sustaining a muscular injury. Kelechi Iheanacho sweating to, of course, meet up his teammates at the African Cup of Nation. Different it is out. Let's just, of course, everyone knows about that one. But talking about the front line, Kelechi is down now. Boniface is down. Osimhen, of course, is the man first up front. Everyone is looking up for. Even in the game against Guinea, Pesera has to rest him. Of course, not really to give him that much of, will I say, much of worries, because putting him in that game, probably you never can tell what might happen. He might be injured or whatever. But should Nigerians be worried with the injury from the man talking about Boniface and the likes of Kelechi?
Well, for me, I don't think that Nigeria have any cause to worry right here, because we have Sadiq Umar as a striker as well, who can also get us the goal. Lukman Ademola as well, though he's a winger, but he's some sort of striker as well, because he has been getting in the goals for Atlanta. For me, in the you know, striking options, I think that should not be our problem. We have about 25 players who were called up for this very one that is going to represent you know, the Super Eagles. Now, if you have 2 or 4 injuries within the squad of 25, do you want to tell me that the rest 21 players cannot prosecute the game and get us the result? No. Of course, we know there are some players that can single-handedly in quotes, win you a game. You know, we understand that fact. But for me, I think this era of football should go beyond building your success around one player, because if you do so, you will do that at your own detriment. I believe, for me, if you have a good coach can even assemble, you know, locally based players out here and get the best of them to the Nations Cup. After all, the Egypt that we are talking about, all their players, in short, 99.9% of their players that they are taking to the AFCON, they are home based. It's just that Al Ali, you know, and the clubs that they play in there, they are very standard club, you know, out there, and that is why it looks as though they have a formidable team. Not that they have foreign-based stars. Take away the likes of Mohamed Salah and El Nani of Arsenal. How many foreign-based players do they have? These are home-based. So for me, my worry is about the coach, how he can be able to use the players that are on ground and get the best out of these players. If he can use these players properly in their rightful position, make the substitution at the right time, play the players at the auto in their rightful position, because that is the problem I have with him. He just want to do everything different in every games, you know. And for me, it is very well. How can you, as a coach, try to deploy Alex Iwobi in a deep midfield role, then bring Frank Onyeka to a supporting striker? It doesn't work that way. We've seen it. Frank Onyeka is good at Brentford as a defensive midfield role and not as a supporting striker. Alex Iwobi is not that kind of player that have the ability to stay and give some of those hard tackles. No, he's very flexible. Give him the free role. He will do well. But the coach has been misusing those players in their rightful position. That is my worry. But if you have a good coach that gets his tactics right, I assure you with a couple of players that we have in our squad, in the national team right now, take away 4 or 3 players that is injured. The rest of the 21 players, they can still get the job done.
All right, at this point, we call it a wrap. That's it for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They were beaten by Guinea today. 2-0 ended after beating, of course, the Dubai team by 12 goals to 0. Well, keep our fingers crossed and see how they continue to prepare to lift the 4th African Cup of Nations. Mike, it's been a special time this evening on the show.
It's always a pleasure doing this with you, Kingsley.
Don't forget, peace and unity over the pathways to progress. We'll be here tomorrow 9 a.m. to bring you the latest from, of course, the world of sports. My name is Kingsley Mano. Thanks for watching.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. Through the Sahara, we bring all sporting documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
It's New Year. The beginning of every new year signals a hope, faith, and desires to be met. From all of us at Morrison Communication Limited, Atlantic Television Network, and Wish 99.5 FM, we pray your desires for 2024 are met and that you enjoy abundant grace all year round. Happy New Year and welcome to Excellent 2024.
To Badagry for a wedding and he came up with a car. How is that even possible?
Haven't you heard the saying that with God, all things are possible?
Spare me all that and tell me what's going on.
You're not even happy. She brought home a car to be taken into the market. You selling marijuana and tramadol, destroying people's lives? Mom, I'm not destroying anybody. If I do not sell to these people, they will still buy from someone else.
There is a smoke on the mountain. If you not take time now, it will turn to fire.
My own now money for hand, back for ground.
What kind of money do you want to make?
Answer me now.
Sharp money.
You go booted?
Yes.
No, not in this house.
What did they happen for here? Why she the waka like say she know where?
You have been avoiding me since that swimming pool stuff.
That alcohol stuff. Point of correction.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honorable student, you human trafficking. Honorable student, you understand.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
It's New Year. The beginning of every new year signals a hope, faith, and desires to be met. From all of us at Morrison Communication Limited, Atlantic Television Network, and Wish 99.5 FM, we pray your desires for 2024 are met and that you enjoy abundant grace all year round. Happy New Year and welcome to Excellent 2024.
To Badagry for a wedding and he came up with a car. How is that even possible?
Haven't you heard the saying that with God, all things are possible?
Spare me all that and tell me what's going on.
You're not even happy. She brought home a car to be taken into the market. You selling marijuana and tramadol, destroying people's lives? Mom, I'm not destroying anybody. If I do not sell to these people, they will still buy from someone else.
There is a smoke on the mountain. If you not take time now, it will turn to fire.
My own now money for hand, back for ground.
What kind of money do you want to make?
Answer me now.
Sharp money.
You go booted?
Yes.
No, not in this house.
What did they happen for here? Why she the waka like say she know where?
You have been avoiding.
Good evening and welcome to our Atlantic Television Network here in Port Harcourt. The program is Press Roundtable. Press Roundtable is a convergence of media professionals who come together to look at news and current affairs, give them insights and perspective and balance. Today Press Roundtable will not be different. We're looking at some make the rounds in the last 24 hours. First, we'll look at the headlines. Rivers crisis. Sorry, we'll go on a short break.
It's New Year. The beginning of every new year signals a hope, faith, and desires to be met. From all of us at Morrison Communication Limited, Atlantic Television Network, and Wish 99.5 FM, we pray your desires for 2024 are met and that you enjoy abundant grace all year round. Happy New Year and welcome to Excellent 2024.
To Badagry for a wedding and he came up with a car. How is that even possible?
Haven't you heard the saying that with God, all things are possible?
Spare me all that and tell me what's going on.
You're not even happy. She brought home a car to be taken into the market. You selling marijuana and tramadol, destroying people's lives? Mom, I'm not destroying anybody. If I do not sell to these people, they will still buy from someone else.
There is a smoke on the mountain. If you not take time now, it will turn to fire.
My own money for hand, back for ground.
What kind of money do you want to make?
Answer me now.
Sharp money. You go Bute? Yes. No, not in this house.
What did they happen for here? Why should the waka like say she nowhere?
You have been avoiding me since that swimming pool stuff.
That alcohol stuff, point of correction.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honorable student, you human trafficking. Honorable student, you understand.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
from the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Tinubu suspends Better Do, orders investigation. Fake National Register, 3 billion recipients. Court dismisses appeals against Governor Alia. Plateau State killings, Christian Association of Nigeria stages peaceful protest. Here's some of the stories. And of course, joining me is a broadcast journalist, Kingsley Zejobi. Kingsley, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy New Year to our viewers.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming. My name is Bon Woke. Well, we're going on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at the details of the news. Don't go away. You're welcome back. My name is Bon Woke. President Bola Tinubu has suspended the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, from office with immediate effect. The suspension was made known in a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, Ajurin Gelale. He said it was in line with Tinubu's avowed commitment to uphold the highest standards of integrity, transparency, and accountability in the management of Commonwealth of Nigerians. The statement said the President further directs the Executive Chairman in the management of Commonwealth of Nigerians. The statement said the president further directs the executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (FCC) to conduct a thorough investigation into all aspects of the financial transactions involving the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, as well as that's that story, and the story talks about the suspension of Bete Edu and over an issue of what looks like an attempt to commit graft.
Well, let me start by saying Happy New Year to our viewers. I think this is my first time this year featuring on the press roundtable. For me, I think it's rather too early for us to begin to see this type of suspension in this current administration. To some watchers, it is a testament of the fact that the current administration under President Bola Tinubu does not have any room for corruption, does not have any room for any room for any kind of hanky-panky. But then for other people, it is a sign, it is a testament, it's more like, yes, we know that is what is going to happen, because those who are appointed, those who are elected in this current administration, many of them don't have the capacity or the competency to be able to handle such offices. And it also brings to the fore the thing that people have been seeing about that particular ministry created by the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, to be able to reach out to those who are affected by insurgency, terrorism, natural disasters, and what have you. That ministry, under the other minister, Farouk or something, I remember the name. That office was laced with a lot of allegations and counter-allegations. We saw for the first time where a government ministry will come in the open and begin to share cash to people. And a lot of people called for data to be able to substantiate the amount that have been said to have been distributed, disbursed, and what was allocated. So what is happening to Bete Edu today is more like bringing out what the ministry is known for. Because if you ask me actually, we really don't need the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Natural Disaster and Poverty Alleviation. We don't really need them. The National Emergency Management Agency is already there to do, if it is properly equipped, funded. Majority of what this ministry is doing will be done perfectly well by NEMA. But of course, politicians will always have that way. They always want to create a job for the boys, in quotes, and this is where it has landed us. And for me personally, I feel actually disappointed that somebody that is like Bete Edu, Dr. Bete Edu, former Commissioner for Health in Cross River State, so eloquent, very beautiful, can go this route or can be traced with this type of allegation. It's even worse because the Accountant General of the Federation has come out to say that she was given a request. Bete Edu made a request. She signed a request, but she, as Accountant General, actually feel bad also by the fact that she is the one in this mess, because she's one of the young ministers that we have in this current administration. There has been so much clamor for youths to be given opportunity to show what they can do, and here we are, a youth. I'm sure if my knowledge tells me right, I was made to understand that she's less than 40, and she's given that kind of opportunity, and that is where we have landed. So it also removes from the agitation for youths to be given opportunities to show what they can do. So when you give the youth, it's more like when you give youth opportunity to show what they can do, They go there with exuberance and everything. They go there to, so to say, mess the whole thing up, and then that now leads credence more to the fact that the elders will continue to run the affairs of the nation, and it's quite unfortunate.
Well, I think it's unfortunate, and we think that President Tinubu should give credibility to his administration with respect to fight against corruption.
Yes.
By ensuring that the right thing is done. But let it not be another media trial. I know that when things happen like this, people would like to use you to show that they are working.
It's actually,
you know, that happens. Don't let anyone use you to show that it's working.
Yeah, yes.
And that kind of razzmatazz that we usually see in Nigeria, where you have open prosecution, audio prosecution, people call it media prosecution. EFCC will running up and down now and playing to the gallery and giving an impression that serious investigation is going on and all that, all to give credence to the so-called fight against corruption, which we don't see the end.
Well,
at the end of the day.
I think that also the issue of fight against corruption in Nigeria will remain a mirage, because there are very few persons who are in political offices today who got into those offices through a credible means, through a credible process. So if the process that brought in political leaders are corrupt, there is chances are that majority of those that will work in that government will also be corrupt one way or the other. So if we're going to talk about fight against corruption, it should be a holistic kind of thing. It should be a holistic fight. The fight should start from the process of selection of our leaders, and then if you have leaders who are selected through a credible means, through a clean process, they will have the morality to be able to select people who have clean characters, clean backgrounds, to be able to deliver the dividend to the people. But where you have people whose emergence as either the governor, the president, the senator, the rep member, if their emergence is a subject of litigation, is a subject of argument among the constituents, chances are that those who support the process are those who will get into the system. And when they get into the system, being that they have supported the process, they will feel entitled.
Yeah.
We have worked, and so we should be rewarded. Not really that we have the capacity to do what we are supposed to do. Better I do, for instance, I understand she was Commissioner for Health in Cross River State, and she did so well during the COVID-19 pandemic. She fought so hard. Cross River State had least case burden then, you know. She was all over the place trying to make sure that nothing goes wrong and everything. I was thinking that in this current administration, she'll be giving something close to that area that she's already used to. But alas, maybe the president has other plans, and then those plans have landed us where we are now, and we're now 7 months into the new administration.
Well, I think that one thing is clear there. Bola Tinubu, in his choice of ministers and recruitment of ministers, seem to have met the yearnings of some Nigerians with respect to the principle of inclusivity, by bringing a young person, one, and then the female gender. So better do, as it were, completes those two parameters in ensuring there is proper balance and spread. And,
but then what of the content?
That's the point. And well, you already said that she was a commissioner. So the point is that at this point, Nigerians appear to be disappointed in that choice.
Sure.
So I remember that during Babangeda's period, when he was talking about changing the trend, removing the old breed, the young people were brought in, and Nigerians started singing this song and started calling them old greed. Young greed, sorry. You have the new breed, you have the old breed, and then they brought the so-called new breed, and they became the new greed. And I hope that's not what we have at hand here in the case of, as epitomized by the appointment of Beta Edu. Let us not have a scenario where we're having a new greed, as it were. And what happened to the other lady is also bringing the maxim that what men have to do, what a man can do, a woman can do better. And let it be that they say men are corrupt naturally, but women are very simplistic and innocent in their approach to issues, and yet we have had a woman who is now facing EFCC with a lot of corruption charges, allegedly.
Allegedly. It's even I don't know whether it's a coincidence, because
yes.
the immediate past minister in that same ministry
exactly.
has also a case with the EFCC. She was accused of misappropriating a lot of money meant for poverty alleviation. She's already going to EFCC, back and forth, and this one again is there too. And the president has ordered that EFCC should go and do a thorough investigation. So we might begin to look at also the scope and the formation of that ministry to see whether it is corruption prone.
Yes.
If it is corruption prone, then there is every reason for the president to be able to scrap that ministry and assign the responsibilities to, like I said before, assign the responsibility to NEMA, and NEMA will do a good job. And in fact, it's even easier to manage a NEMA headed by probably a civil servant or a technocrat. It's easy to deal with such a person than to deal with a politician. Better I do, as long as she's a politician.